Round one begins, both with a similar start. Some rather tentative hits to begin with, however. The halberd is not wanting to get too close. Now there's a bit of movement. They've broken across the sides. A lot of athleticism you'll see from Pardus Bellator. Of course, that is no surprise from a French team. And you can see how these clinches break away from the list, and two of them have gone down together. That, of course, is the difficulty with having that open space. It's very hard if you're in a grapple. If one goes down, they're likely to both go down. But this is much better after a slow start. There's a lot of action coming from both these teams now. A lot of aggression. Of course, I think there's a missed opportunity from the Bellator fighter who could have actually tried to force the Sirocchi fighter out from under the list. And of course, there's quite a wide space, as you can see. That's a nice takedown there from the Bellator fighter, as you saw, and of course another one there. Superb work from Pardus Bellator. Some great takedowns there, and you can see that there was perhaps a third point of contact after the throw from the French fighter. But of course, as that's permitted, I mean, we didn't see if it touched the ground or not, but even if it did, it wouldn't make a difference. It's permitted now, as mentioned before. Happy about the lists either for several reasons. One thing for being able to clinch onto the list, another thing for aesthetic reasons. If you have an audience lower down, it makes it harder to see what's happening. And at the moment, we can't see how long each round is going to take because they've got this freedom. You can see how now each team is carefully observing the other. They're having to keep their vision wide open so that they don't get anyone going around the list from behind. A little bit of movement there, but it's very, very cautious. So now the Bellator fighters ready to make their mark and start their attack. As you can see, the Sirocchi fighters have got them under control there. There's a nice burst out in the middle there. That was good vision from the Sirocchi fighter. And now things are moving forward. Things draw up on a pace. And this is great work from Sirocchi, who are forcing down the Bellator fighter. However, it's not going to be easy. And Bellator now coming right back into it. After the halberdier there, just gathering his strength. And unfortunately, those moments to gather strength might have proven costly, in fact. So nice strikes coming down now at this point, and we have a Sirocchi fighter there who is kind of out on his own, and the Bellator fighter is going to have to work harder. That's a great takedown there. Nicely sweeping out the leg, putting the fighter in a very uncomfortable position. Old friends with a more rapid start. Ruslan Ivanovic in the middle there. There's superbly aggressive strikes and a great takedown there from the old friends fighter number 7. And old friends really taking it to Pardus Bellator. But a lot of energy coming from an athleticism from both teams. But old friends now charging and hemming in those Bellator fighters who have got to break away from the corner of that list. Strikes pounding down now on them. Well, this is looking very difficult for them, and it's been called about it that there might be some controversy, but we shall see. Of course, the teams are entitled to appeals. A great start here, and once again, Bellator have an early fighter down. The old French follow the great charge, then somehow the Pardus Bellator fighter was managed to stay on his feet, but he's gone down now, and this is all old friends doing what they do best, charging down Pardus Bellator, and that is a resounding. The two most rapid striking and fast moving teams in this tournament, so I'd be interested to see how this goes. Cautious start from both of them, slight more speed from Siabri, They go once again for the tandem start, whereas again, Bellator tried to equal that on this 45 degree in one place. So this will be the break of the middle runner. It's a new weapon that had to be taken by the fighter, but all the aggression really is coming from Siabri at this point. So there's a risk for the... Oh, it's a great footwork. The vision to take the risk of tripping the fighter there was spot on, but that was excellent footwork and grounding. They are not going to get this fighter over. Where he gets the energy from, I don't know. But that was majestic footing. Siabri now well in control of this. There will be a charge. What's he going to do? He goes for the armor strike instead. A very good idea. Again, the flying knees, waste of time. You go charging in, you wrap around the top part of the body, go for a pull down, or you start going for the armor. And seeing what their structures are, yes, absolutely, that counts. And you've got first-hand experience of them in recent tournaments. You can rely a little bit too heavily on that. Okay, so Bellator are a little more open with their vision this time, and the decision to try and run down or charge down that Siabri fighter was a very good one. There's a broken weapon there, so he will not be able to strike till he gets a new weapon. Charge comes in, good vision, he backs off, the right thing to do, and he was very, very careful there about leaving himself exposed. Much more control now from Buhurt Bellator. Siabri a little bit loose, but they are with all the aggression there. And that's a nice takedown there, brilliant barge there. Well, that's how you get that final breakthrough. And now that Siabri have done it, I think they'll just start cleaning up from here. But there's just not enough being given away by anyone to get a clear run through, a clear shot through. Of course, they are hemmed in the corner, which makes it hard to move either way and even break them down. So the decision to try and wear them down with strikes, of course, is a good one, as he's doing now. Buhurt Bellator got to take a lot of strikes, and big aggression from the Siabri fighter, but goes on for a takedown, misses it. So the evasive action there and wisdom. The HMB family grows. And we have NSK against Buhurt Bellator. And this is exactly the kind of energy that Ilya Dragan or NSK likes to work with. He needs the energy, the athleticism of Buhurt Bellator, who are one of the fastest attacking teams. And they're pushing NSK right back. And I think a third point was held there by the Bellator fighter, which means one NSK fighter is down already. This is nice work from the French team. And there's a strike to the gauntlet there. And again, you can see, let's just zip past it now. There's a big takedown. And yes, unfortunately, the Bellator fighter is not able to keep up. But now the French are really taking it to NSK. Well, they've just fought, and you'd expect that fatigue will be kicking in at this point. But they're pulling no punches and going straight into this NSK team, who are not giving up. And I think they'll need to back away from that corner, of course. You've got the big French fighter who'll be looking to get a grapple and pull away on the NSK fighter, but that is the one that they're going to have difficulty with. Very, very solid feet. So it goes down a bit, you can see a real grapple coming through, and I think they're both going to go down as they do. The Buhurt Bellator fighter bouncing off the grounded fighter. There's a nice takedown about to happen. They both go down, so it's 1 versus 1 here. The Bellator fighter, can he stay up? He can't. And Knight Marshall in the centre, Sergei Stich, calls for the start of this round. Again, there's a fairly slow start from NSK, but you have to admire that composure that they've got. Whereas Oh, that's a double takedown there. Again, they've got to work on the game of breaking out of those clinches, because there's such a tight grip on them that once they're going down, and this is a criticism also of the person or the fighter who's taking them down, they've got to find a way to break off that. It was as easy for me to say that. Much easier said than done. But of course, as you've seen today, this is nothing impossible. Sabri demonstrating excellent evasive maneuvering against NSK. As it pulls down a bit, and you can see that that's good teamwork, however, from NSK. He was sort of like hunting down the loose runner. Oh, some great aggression shown, and there's a late intervention from the Bellator fighter. He's going to have to be very careful now when the charge comes through. And I think the Bellator fighter would have done better actually going for the loose NSK fighter, who was told to get up. I don't think the NSK fighter was a bit lucky there. He thought he was down. And the marshal said that it was up. And that's a good takedown. Very nice teamwork there from NSK in the league. You can see the aggression that they show. And as I've said many times already, the athleticism. They really are in good shape, and they can read each other's fights well. A lot of the time coming up with very quick takedowns. The vision is good. They know where to position themselves. There were a couple of mistakes in the last round, however. I feel like some of their counter strikes were a little bit slow, and they just gave away too much to NSK. And they really don't want to do that. And again, there is an interesting takedown happening on the other side, and the Bellator fighter went down, but it was, I feel he might have actually endangered his own fighter. Well, the charge was worthy, but he put his own fighter in danger, and now two of them are going to go down, and bodies are flying down all over the place. This leaves it, I think, just at 1 against 1. Well, that's a very interesting turn of events. Bellator turned on the aggression, but it wasn't very controlled aggression, I've got to say, if I've got one criticism for them. They had all that aggression, but they didn't really perceive so well the consequences of these charges. Now you have NSK in a good position, but is at full stretch here. Nothing to hold on to. This is where it becomes interesting. This is where we can see if the list is useful or not. Great grappling from NSK, and the evasive maneuver on the part of the Bellator fighter is outstanding. Manages to get to his feet, but still being pulled down. So trying to regain a good position, but of course, in every split second is more energy exerted. So Sergei Stitch has called a stop, thanks for inactivity, and has asked the fighters to go to the middle, which is a new concept. When they restart, they are to do so in the middle of the list. Of course, this is so that there can be more action, if you say. And a good takedown there. That's, oh no! And again, Bellator going for that slight start there, but going side by side rather than tandem. Always keep your eyes open to see which of the, when you get one in the middle and two on the side, are they going side by side or in tandem? Great takedown there from the NSK fighter. So some early pressure, and it's going to be difficult to get out of that. Again, jumping round, going for the pull down. The NSK fighter eventually gets there for assistance. And there's a good vision by the Bellator fighter, ducking those shots there. And that's a big strike that comes down the Bellator fighter. There's some careless vision there from partners Bellator. And regulate their own national leagues. And of course, you've got some of the biggest tournaments in the world in France. To say nothing of Carcassonne, which is something of a fan favourite and draws in crowds from all over. But now you see the fact that the White Stags have really got a grip on this. And although they are facing those charges by Bellator, they do seem to have a good take on how to face them. Nice aggression shown, and the Bellator fighter forced back. You do have a loose one, and two of them will go down. So again, there's that same difficulty of going down. Now I think people are going to have to start to wise up to this 3-point rule that you can use. That third point, big takedown there. The fight of Buhurt Bellator. But again, going in for those flying kicks, regardless of whether they connect or not, great trip there from Bellator. Regardless of whether those high kicks connect or not, they do still break the lines. They do still create that distance. There's a good takedown there, but the White Stags fighter did well. The fighter is still up. It seems to me a little bit suspect, but I may be wrong. I thought there were 4 points on the ground there, but the marshals disagreed. So the French fight on. I think they might want to have another look at that, to be honest, though. And again, okay, we go now to Vysočina against Buhurt Bellator. And the Czech team are faced with, well, both teams have faced tougher opposition so far, and they'll be looking to get right back into it. So we will bring you an update on the injured fighter as soon as we get information. It's important that everybody hears about it, understands what the situation is. And the two Czech fighters have been taken down already, and the Bellator fighter goes down as well. There was no contention that all the weight was put on all 4 points rather than just 2. There's a great charge coming in. Grabs around the fighter, and unfortunately the Bellator fighters just demonstrated these futile charges that fighters have been doing for so long, just ramming in with flying knees and whatnot into fighters who are already against the list, and all they do is just get pushed against the list a little bit more. We're going to, we're back to the action with MFC Vysočina, and of course they've taken down a Bellator fighter already. This is good work from them, but they've got to start gelling together. They need a little bit of teamwork to come through there, but I do see them in a good position now. There's the aggressive Bellator fighter, but now they're using a lot of their athleticism to try to break through these Czech fighters, all very even at the moment. The strikes come down, but the Czech fighters got to be a little bit more precise, a bit more footwork I think they would benefit from as well, because the Bellator fighters do have great grip on them, and as you can see, there was a double takedown to the left-hand side of the list. So this is good aggression from Bellator, but I have to say, MFC Vysočina, they have come through, and that will be the end of it. There was a easily do that. Now let's see what they've got against Old Friends, who start off very aggressively. And it's already a takedown. Superb work from Old Friends. Well, leaning forward for that one, a high risk maneuver, but it paid off. And a huge kick to the back there from Old Friends, who are now grinding down this Buhurt Bellator team. They pushed them right to the corners here. And I think Buhurt Bellator knew how to hit them. They're both down, and it is over. It's something that Buhurt Bellator will have to work on. But we go down to round 2, and as expected, Old Friends holding back a little bit, but it's Buhurt Bellator who run forward. Nice vision shown there from the Buhurt Bellator fighter, knowing that there was a runner loose. And it's a great takedown there, however. Buhurt Bellator all of a sudden are right back into it. The charge comes through absolutely nothing. So some spent energy there, but they're in a good position now, and another Old Friends fighter has been taken down, whereas in the corner there are two Buhurt Bellator fighters being taken down, and this is very, very close. What an absolutely stunning semi-final this is turning out to be. Well, from out of nowhere, Buhurt Bellator charged in, got these excellent takedowns, and Old Friends will not be happy about that. Well, they're ducking and weaving. They're moving out of these positions well. That's a good takedown there. So now it's old friends who have got the advantage, 2-1. But my goodness, that comeback from Pardos Bellator. And this is what Buhurt League is all about. The war's put to them today. So here we go, round one of this bronze medal fight. Bellator will want to be a little bit careful not to give anything away because the footing of NSK is just too good. And I think there was a 4th point there. And no, in fact, yeah, the Bellator fighter has been grounded by Night Marshal Sergei Stitch, and rightly so, although it was a good takedown. Unfortunately, the was not able to recover it, but that's an interesting takedown happening in there. And there is a 3rd point, which means it's okay. This is good news now for Bellator, although NSK come right back in it. This is a really close fight. Going to both corners now. The NSK fighters might be able to find a little bit of leeway around there. You can see the Marshal giving a count for them to move it out, as they do. Bellator fighter very quick to move and goes for that charge, trying to utilize the grounded fighter as a sort of trip device. The charge goes in, but it is counted already. Or perhaps not. So I'm not sure if that was actually a stopper or a break. I think, yeah, they're just being brought into the centre of the list. Might be a little bit overzealous with this rule, saying that if things are not moving. And see, the Bellator fighter has gone right back to the list. Now, the chances may be better. A little bit out. This is interesting. Very interesting. Well, this is a real boost for Pardos Bellator. And we have what is now... Okay, so they've been brought to the centre of the list. The NSK fighter are not clear on it. And I believe that they're going to try and keep this into the centre of the list as we speak. Well, there may be some contention, in fact. Well, they've got their work cut out now, and here we go. Oh, that's a lost weapon. How about that? The NSK fighter could have chased him down, but that would have been a risk in itself, to be fair. Oh, this is impressive. Oh, look at the movement from this Bellator fighter. The NSK fighter doing well to keep the grounding, but does not look very confident. But it doesn't appear to be that, because that's not what it looked like from where I was sitting. I'll have to get some clarification on this, but of course the rules don't necessarily need to be published beforehand to the public. They only have to be made clear to the fighters. Fighters can contend it if they haven't been communicated correctly. So some good movement coming from both teams here. Wow, you've got to be impressed with this Bellator team. That's stunning, but great work, a great comeback there from NSK, who come back charging and ripping away at the Bellator fighter. This is big moves now coming from both teams. Well, I'm not too sure about that, actually. Well,